and gentlemen, welcome to Can We Talk?
Oh yeah. Bada zing, bada boom. What's going on, everybody out there? Can we talk? Coming to you live on the Patreon. Actually, it's not live, sorry. But what is up, everybody? It's Sunday afternoon, high afternoon, about 6:30, Sunday, and I'm recording this the night after the big championship finals. Heistman Defoe takes the belt, takes the cup, takes the crown, takes the whatever you want to call it, the championship, and he wins and he goes home as the champ last night, and proud of that dude, very proud of him. I also, obviously I was also pulling for my cousin because he is my cousin, but this is also an event that was held by the Foulmouth Network, and having him in it in the first place was a little, but it was the first time we did it and everything, and nobody knew how good he was. I mean, I didn't realize how good he was, man. So big props to my cousin Chris, and on really, he didn't win, but you know what? He did win in a way. So big shout out to cousin Chris. I mean, he proved that he is an outstanding talent when it comes to hip hop, and he does have a little something to bring to the table, man, and as far as rapping, man, which is really, really fucking sweet, man. So big shout out to him and what he did in this tournament in the finals there, and also a big shout out to the one and only Alex Payne, man. The kid's been calling this show since day one. We've had some really memorable moments with Alex Payne on the show. Whether they're good or bad. I mean, so he's been a good kid to me, man, a good friend. He's never ever, I've never had an issue with him. He's never had one with me, I don't think. I hope not. But it seems like there's people popping up all over the place that have issues. But you know what? Listen, none to say, needless to say, sorry, that he's a great kid, and I'm very impressed in what he did in this tournament, and God bless him. What a run for him. And that last track that he put together in the tournament was, I thought, pretty damn good. And big shout out to him as well in a great tournament, and really just stepped up his game tremendously in this. And everybody knew it too. I mean, everybody's very happy with what he showed. So big shout out to him and his whole crew and everybody he works with over on the shows that he does with Ray Rollins and all those guys. And Gatekeeper Drew, what could I say? Guy did a hell of a job on the judging panel. He was one of the only guys besides all the Foulmouths that was on every single judging panel. He did a hell of a job the whole way through. Big kudos and big shout out to Drew. Big shout out to everybody also in the chat and all the Patreon members that put their points up towards the people they like, because that's what pushed this tournament in the direction of who should be champ. And it came down to, I think, the right people. And I think the finals yesterday was a win for all three of these guys, because they all worked their way to that level, to that extent of it. So it came out really good. I'm getting so much feedback from so many people about it, man. I've never seen anything like it that I've touched, that Foulmouths have ever done. I've never seen anything like it. The feedback is insane. It's insane. I'm getting DM after DM, emails. I'm getting messages on Skype and Twitter, and I mean, you just name it. I'm getting messages on Facebook, everywhere, of people saying, yo, thank you for bringing that all to the forefront and letting these guys do this. I'm getting it from the contestants that were on the show. I'm getting it from the people who, and man, thank you so much to everybody out there for all of that, what everybody's saying, because it was really hard to put this all together. It was hard in the beginning, but I got used to doing it, and also trying to make the show flow and go in the right directions and do the right thing by people, and have a good show and be honest about it and give honest opinions and make sure that the person, the people who were supposed to be in the finals were in the finals. And I think we definitely made that happen. as judges. And like I said, so many shout outs to so many people that were judges. We had so many different judges throughout the tournament. The one mainstay was the Foulmouth crew and Drew. So shout out to Drew. And like I said, shout out to all the other people who came on to judge. The last episode we had the one and only Metaphor Messiah who came on and did his thing and judged on everything, and which was awesome. So a big shout out to him. And like I said, his album drops New Year's Eve, I think. So definitely go and check that out and show him some love. He's great. His hip hop skills are unbelievable. And he helped judge last night really honestly and really critique the guys the right way, man. It was cool to hear a professional like actually critique hip hop. So big shout out to him coming in and doing that, and to S. Dollar for last night coming in, and big shout out to, like I said in the chat, to Woken Alex out there, Woken Peter out there. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to all the people who fucking were involved in the tournament, all the way down onto Scott and Jake, fucking Young Republican, and big shout out to all those guys for being involved. Shout out to fucking Mars for being the judge at one point, and everybody who was judging and was a part of this whole entire thing was awesome. And it really was a positive thing in a day of darkness.
As the darkness set over the whole entire community, people wiped away the dust to see what was left. And there was one ray of light in the distance that was still beaming high and bright. And that ray of light was the Foulmouth Network. This winter, the Foulmouth Network will be doing the one and only Filthy Mouth Gamer gets done in by his own people. The bash, the smackdown, whatever you want to call it, the hoedown, the destroying, the blowing up of the Filthy Mouth Gamer, coming this winter, where we will roast the Filthy Mouth Gamer. That's next on the Foulmouth's radar. Come and join the roast right after New Year's. And also a New Year's Eve bash here on the Foulmouth's Network. Not right on New Year's Eve because we all have families and we should be with them. But the day before, come and be a part of the New Year's Eve bash on the Foulmouth's Network. We're talking Das Boot. We're talking funnel, beer funnels. We're talking all the top motherfuckers in the community on one channel, one night, for the biggest fucking party of all time. New Year's Eve on the Foulmouth Network.
Ah, yeah. We're going to be doing a big bash a couple of nights or a night before the New Year's Eve, because I can't do it on New Year's Eve. I got a family, I got fucking friends and shit that are going to be here, and not here, but like wherever I am, I'm going to be doing something. So I can't necessarily do it the night of, which is, you know, I hope everybody's busy with their family the night of, for Christ's sake. I mean, what's New Year's Eve without being with your family and friends? So we're going to be doing it a couple of days before in advance on this channel. It'll be a New Year's Eve party, but not on New Year's Eve. So it'll probably be on the weekend before or something like that. But we're definitely doing something. So look for that coming up on the channel around New Year's Also, like I said, the roast of the Filthy Mouth Gamer is on. We're going to do it. It's going to be fucking epic. We're starting to plan everything right now as far as like people we would like to ask to come on to the show and this, we're going to keep it like a real roast. Like you would see on Comedy Central, a roast that you would see on Comedy Central is how we want to kind of do it here. Where people will get up with, listen, if they write, that's great. If they write their script out, that's great. But come up onto the stage and have something to say and not just wing it. Like people got to have it prepared and ready to go. So there's only a certain amount of people we could ask. One of those people is Coop the comedian. So if anybody hears from him, tell him no hard feelings between me and him. And I already tried to reach out to him, but I don't know if he saw it. What happened between us was like, it was stupid, and it's like we needed some time just to separate it and just, and I think we did. So I'm going to reach out to him again and see if he wants to be a part of it, because he's an actual comedian that could actually bring some comic styles to the show. And that's what we're going to be going for. All like, and we're going to ask a lot of people to be involved with the show. So you might just be asked out there if you're out there listening to this. And we highly appreciate and highly would love for the Patreon family members that are hearing this to be a part of this too. If they have anything they want to write down, anything they want to say to Filthy that's, funny and has something to do with what we're doing that night, which is a roast of Filthy, I would love for you guys to be involved in it as well. So all the Patreon family members that want to be involved in the Filthy roast, come and reach out to me here on Patreon or on Twitter, and let me know if you want to be involved in some way. There's plenty of ways to be involved in this. You could, number one, be on the panel with us. We are going to have a panel of people, just like they do in the roast. We're going to have a panel of people that'll be in on this roast. I'm going to try to make it to where we're going to have a couple of people up on this panel that are family members that have never really done anything in the community before. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're out there and you never really reached out or spoke to us before, but you're a Patreon member who is hearing this, and you want to be involved for the first time ever and get your name out there and say hi to people who have never heard from you before, I want to give an opportunity to a couple of people out there that have never been heard of before, that really are a Patreon of ours, who have kept quiet, who want to say what's up and have their voice heard now. So I'm going to leave 2 spots open for people like that in the community to come on to the dais with us during this Filthy roast and be a part of the whole entire roast, where you will have something to say about Filthy, and you also run the risk of having something said about you if you're up on the dais. So that goes for everybody, and I'm going to explain that to people when I invite them along on this and to see if they want to be a part of this, is that if you're up there, you're going to be laying into Filthy, but remember, you could also be laid into as well, because it's a roast. So anybody who's on the panel runs the risk of getting fucking chopped up, and that's the way it should be, a roast. I want to bring it to you guys the real way that it's supposed to be brought to you, not some rinky-dink fucking YouTube bullshit. I want to bring it to you the real way that a roast is supposed to be presented. On camera, the person's face in the screen, everybody sees everybody who's talking, everybody hears everybody, nobody's talking over each other, the show is done the right way, people get up and talk about Filthy for 4 or 5 to 7 minutes a clip, they sit down, the next person comes up, says their thing to Filthy, they interact a little, they laugh, blah, 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 wherever the segment goes, they sit down, the next person comes up, there's going to be an MC who's going to control the flow of the show, the whole 9. We're going to do the whole thing the right way. Promise you guys that. So everybody in the family that wants to be a part of the Filthy roast, reach out to me. These are the preliminary areas of the show right now, where we're just getting everything underway. Who's going to be there? Who's going to speak? Who's going to be a part of it? Who's not? Who's this? Who's that? So we're putting it all together now. So like I said, if you want to be a part of it, please reach out to me and tell me, hey, Ken, I want to be a part of it in any way that you need me. Or, hey, Ken, I want to be a part of it where I call in and say something about Filthy. Then that I'm going to work out for everybody to be able to do that. So just because you haven't been heard of before, or you're not a top donator, or you're not a top this or that, doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get on this. I want everybody to be able to get on to this if they want to. So that's how it's going to be made for you guys, for everybody, especially for the Foulmouth's Patreon members. And also the people who are not members. I want to make it for them too. If they want to be a part of it, you're going to call in. We're going to have a segment of the show where we'll take outside phone calls towards Filthy. All the stuff will be towards Filthy. And we'll take a segment, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of phone calls, rapid phone calls about Filthy and the roast. So it should be a great fucking time coming up. This is going to be right around the end of New Year's, the beginning of January, right around there. We have a new show going to be coming to the Patreon, which is fucking very exciting. And this is definite. It's going to definitely happen, a brand new show. Plus, we still have Meat Locker that we're doing. We're also doing the Filthy's Game Room very soon, which is going to be a great one. It's going to be about all Nintendo products. So if you're a gamer, you love that type of shit, it's going to be all Nintendo. So it should be cool. He just did his last one. Not just did it, but 2 weeks ago he did the one about the Wild West games and stuff, that all the games that were in the Wild West, which was pretty cool, man. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on here. Filthy's Game Room. What else we got? Today, so there's like a lot of people, like I said, were happy with the way that this went off and really felt like it was something positive and new. And I know the contestants that were in this really felt it, because they got some of the messages I'm getting too, of how positive this was for some people, man. This really was some positive shit. And anybody out there that's hurting, sitting at home, they're not able to fucking get out, and the holidays are coming up and they fucking feel like shit. I know some people feel like shit on the holidays, man. It could be a fucking great time of the year for people to have that fucking warmth in their heart, man. And I'm sorry I'm speaking corny, but it's the truth. It comes that time of the year, some people that have that warmth that fills your heart, that fills you with goodness, and try to be a good person and try to really love one another. But this also means something different to other people. Christmas time and the holiday time. To some people, it means pure anguish and pure shit and bad memories and bad times and a bad taste in your mouth and times that you remember that were great that don't exist no more. When the holidays roll around, it makes you think of all these things. And you could be one way or the other. You could be full of warmth in your heart, like I said, or you could be a cold son of a bitch that is left in the past and there's nothing but negativity in front of you and on your mind. But I got news for you. There's a fucking reason you're here on Earth right now, okay? Because you wouldn't just be here randomly. And I know some people, and I'm not trying to tell anybody how to fucking believe or what to believe or who to believe. That's your own business. I never, ever, you guys have been listening to me a long time. I've never given anybody anything about their religion. I would never do that, man. What people believe is their own business. Who the fuck am I to judge anybody in this world that we live on, this rock that's floating around in the middle of nowhere, okay? We're creatures on this rock that's floating in the middle of fucking nowhere, randomly, okay? I get that. I would never push religion on anybody, but I believe that everything's connected and everything's for a reason. And you want to call that God or religion or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you can call it that. I just call it believing in something and something bigger than the small picture, something bigger and brighter than just one person. And I've always been taught to believe that way. And, my mother was a Catholic growing up. She used to recite the Bible to me and everything. And, so I've had religion in my life. There's no doubt about it, But like I said, I'm not necessarily the biggest religious person in the world. I don't take my kids all the time to church and stuff. Although they are going for their confirmation and all that stuff. They are doing the right thing, in the eyes of the church. But, I don't push it. But I do believe, and I've had, like I said, you guys mostly know my story. I've had a lot of death in my family, just like the next person. We've all experienced that shit. It's inevitable. You will as a human being. And it's fucked up to think like the human body is like a rose, man. Like you start off this little fragile fucking thing that's blowing in the wind that could crack and break at any moment. You spend your whole childhood like that, and then you become this fucking strong-rooted thing, like in your teenage years, that is like strong-rooted and starting to learn and starting to blossom and the roses are starting to like full bloom, and you start to find out who you are and shit, and then you hit like your mid-20s and you become like this person. You're starting to become the human being you're going to be at the later ages, and you're starting to learn from your mistakes and starting to gather new information that makes you who you are, and you're starting to move on in life. And then you get to like your old, you know, your mid to late 30s, almost early 40s, and you know, you're either a father or a mother or whatever you are. Even if you're not, you're just probably a working human being and living in this world, and you're doing all these things, and you're coming to your full bloom where you're at your fullest potential ever in your mid like 30s, where you're smart now, much smarter than you were when you were in your 20s or in your teens, and you look beautiful or you look handsome or whatever you are. You're healthy, right? You're moving around, and you're moving around this earth, and you're moving around these people, and you're making money, and you're paying bills, and you're, you know, going places and doing things and meeting people and talking, and you're moving around. And even if you're not this type of person and you're at home and you're not really out and about in this world, well, you're still doing it. You're still living. You're still interacting. You're still going to the store and buying milk and bread. You're still fucking paying your bills, and you're still doing your thing. You're still, even if you're not working a job, you're still doing your thing. You're still moving around and working and doing things and fixing things and mowing, and you know, you still are cutting hair or doing something on the side or painting or whatever you're doing. You're a human being, and you're moving around on this fucking rock that's floating out in the middle of nowhere. And you get to this age of where you're at your full bloom, and then everything starts to fucking turn downhill. But yeah, your body starts to go downhill at a certain age. You know, you hit your 50s, 60s, your body starts to go fucking the opposite way. Like a rose. You know, the rose grows from nothing, wildering shit, to this strong-rooted fuck, to this beautiful, full-blown fucker, down to where it starts to wither up a little bit and get older, and the petals start to drop off, and it starts to wrinkle. And then before you know it, it's fucking leaning over, it's to the side, it's lost all its fucking, you know, rose petals, and it's fucking leaning to the side, and then one day it just, boom, just gives out and falls to the ground and dies. And that's what it's about. That's what life's about. And there's a reason why the fuck you're here. My friend killed himself, and he was here for a reason. If he would have stuck around another year or two, he would have seen that this bitch who took everything from him turned around and admitted to all this fraud and all this shit and got arrested and went to jail, and his kids would have been with him. And this bitch would have been locked up, and he would have been happy. But he didn't wait. He didn't stick around. He left early. And he didn't get a chance to fucking see what would have happened. And I told him a million fucking times, dude, things change, people change, situations change if you just wait and you give it time. Good things come to good people who wait for them. If you earn it, you went out there and legitimately earned something, and you're sitting around, you're waiting for it, and you're saying, hey man, I done the right thing. I want what's mine. I did the right thing. I played by the rules, okay? I put the time and effort into all this shit. I played by the rules. I tried to do the right thing by people. What about me? Well, guess what? You can ask that all you want, but the problem is, at the end of the day, you're going to get it when you get it. But if good people wait for good things to come to them, they will. And that's the bottom line. If you're a good person, the good is going to come to you. The bad that's on you, if you're a good person, will eventually all just shake off of you and just fall to the ground. That's what happens with every good person. Every person who does the right thing, every person who has a lie made up against them or an accusation cut against them or anything like that, that's not true. They don't even need to defend themselves, to be honest. I'm learning this now. Words don't mean shit. Words don't mean shit. Actions mean everything. Actions mean fucking everything. So, in this world of accusations and me, and the fucking me movement and this and that, and you know what? It don't matter. It don't matter. Because as long as you're doing the right thing, it'll all take care of itself. And that's how it'll always be. And I got news for you. That's the way it's always been. You know, the good doesn't always win, but guess what? The good wins almost fucking 90% of the time, man. So eventually, if you just stay on the good path and you stay on the right path and you do the right thing, Eventually, everyone will see it. Eventually, the truth comes out. Eventually, everybody sees it for what it is right there in front of their face. And if they can't see it now, then hey. Oh well. And, you know, I haven't let any of the drama, any of the bullshit sneak into any of my shows. I haven't said any comments on anybody. There's been like little zingers here and there, but it's playful little banter, booby. It's playful little booby banter. It's nothing that's bad. Nobody's wishing any ill will towards people. On my channel, on our channel, me and Foulmouth, the guys, we are going where it's fun first. Fun first. As much as we can make it a drama-free zone, we will do that. Period. I will not let it bleed into what we do, period. I will just not let any of the bullshit bleed in. And I'm not talking about one in particular people. I'm not talking about one person or a set of people or a show or anything like that. I'm speaking in general to everything. I will not let the harmful shit come into this area and fuck this up. Because this channel was made to come into and unwind and speak your mind about anything. As long as you're coming in here and having fun first, that's all we ask. Period. There's a time for everybody to speak on their shit. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's on your own channels, sometimes it's not. You got to pick and choose your battle. You got to pick and choose your fight. You got to pick and choose what angle and what you want to do. But at the end of the day, when you're picking and choosing all these things, if you stand by what you believe and you follow your heart and you pick what you pick with your heart and with your mind, that's all you can do. And have fun with it. And that's it. That's my advice to anybody who's doing anything like this. That's what I've learned over 2 years of doing this now, is to have fun first and let everything else fall into place. Period. Now, there's people out there that can't have a good Christmas. They can't have food on their plate. They can't give their kids toys. They can't, provide a fucking house over their heads. They can't. I mean, that's real deal worries. That's real deal life bullshit right there. That's not this petty little shit that we go through on Twitter and all this garbage. I don't even go on Twitter anymore, guys. Like, I'm barely ever on Twitter. I return everybody's messages on Twitter. I go right to the messenger, and I mainly speak to the people who are talking to me, and then I bounce off of Twitter because I don't like Twitter. I don't fucking deal with it no more. It's a fucking spot for negativity and bullshit. It really is. It seems like more people are negative than fucking not on there. So I don't really deal with it. I really don't read what people say. I don't read into it. I get sound clips, I get sound bites, I get messages from people all day, every day about other people. Ken, this person said this about you in the chat. Ken, this person was cool with you yesterday, but now hates you today on this show. Ken, this person this person that. I don't care. They're allowed to have their opinion on that day. If that day they hate me, then they hate me. If that day they love me, they love me. I have nothing to say about that. You know why? Because I'm on here doing a show. I'm not on here for a popularity contest. I'm on here for a show, to do a show. To do numerous shows, to have fun, to talk. People wanted me on here. Okay? When we first started, we had 3 people in the room with us, watching us. Other people came to us, said, we want to hear more of you. We want to hear you better. You should have better system, a better setup, a better mic, a better this. I can't afford this shit. This shit is not bought by me. I didn't buy this shit. The people did. The people gave us this tool to fucking speak our minds. The people set us up like this. To have backgrounds and names and fucking little figurines about ourselves and then we go on shows and we act all fucking serious. Some of us, we act all serious. People who do shows or do live streams, we get on there and we act all tough and serious. But at the end of the fucking day, man, we're on here doing a show. Get a grip. Life is way too fucking important and it has too much meaning for this shit to weigh down my life outside of it. It will never happen, and it should not happen to any one of you out there. If you let this bullshit in the community and the drama hurt you or weigh you down, then you need to take a step back. And I would tell that to my most fucking loved one, my own child. I would tell that too right there, okay? If you let this bullshit, drama, or anything hurt you or impede you of anything in your real life, you need to take a step back. You need to look at yourself. You need to look at the surroundings. You need to figure out what's what. And you need to take the steps on never letting the internet invade your life. Okay? There's people on here that bully motherfuckers, that tell people that they'll fucking get dark web and they'll find out their IP addresses and their fucking this and that. And that's not a joke. That was thrown into people's faces, okay? All right? Don't be afraid of that shit. Don't be afraid of that. Don't let somebody bully you. Don't let somebody intimidate you to not speak your mind. So many fucking people have come to me telling me that. Thank you so much to you, to Joe, to this, to that. Even thanking me for other people out there that are in this community that fought back, that were yelled at and fucking ripped apart. These people are coming to me, thanking me for them. I'm like, thank them. Go to them and tell them thank you for what you did. A lot of people are afraid to speak up about some shit that goes on, you know? And it doesn't have to be like that, man. It does not have to be like that, and it should never be like that. That's not what this is about. Definitely not what this is about, man. I'm sorry. So, but with all that said, listen, at the end of the day, like I said, I am not letting shit bleed into my regular scheduled programming. This is a Can We Talk. You know how I get down on these shows. I talk about shit that I normally wouldn't talk about on air. That's the way these shows have always been. So if you don't like hearing me discuss this stuff, I apologize. But this is what Can I Talk is always, Can We Talk has always been about, touching on topics that are, not really spoken about on the air. And I'll continue to do that with these shows because it gives me my chance, and I really do appreciate anybody who does listen to this and enjoys this. I fucking so appreciate you because, number one, you guys are the Patreon family, and that's who this goes out to first and foremost. And you guys, thank you for letting me do this shit because I have a spot where I can come and unwind and say, hey, man, none of this shit should be relevant to our lives or bothering our real lives because it shouldn't. Come on now. We're too smart for that. Like, come on now, guys. Like, and I'm not saying it's bothering anybody in particular. I'm just saying if it is to anyone out there, please don't anymore because it shouldn't be. This has no bearing on us, who we are in real life and what we do. And somebody wants to sit there, tell lies about you or act like they're fucking exploiting you or whatever they do, whatever they think they are, what they're doing, fucking let them do it. Let them fucking do it. Because those type of people who can't keep their mouth shut and they keep going every single day in, day out, those are the people who get shut up eventually. Mark my words. Mark my fucking words. The people who make bullshit up and accuse people of being something and saying something that they're not, those are the people who eventually get shut up and are on the wrong side of karma. Mark my motherfucking words. Guarantee you, truer words have not been spoken. I'm telling you right now. Now this trailer that came out for Marvel, I absolutely fucking loved it, man. How it showed fucking Iron Man basically on his last couple of breaths in this shuttle. That was the Guardians of the Galaxy shuttle, and he's just floating around aimlessly. And Captain America's down on Earth with fucking Black Widow, just trying to figure out what the fuck happened and how all these people disappeared and died. And then all of a sudden here comes Ant-Man like, hey man, I got something that might be able to work for us. So it kind of lets you into what they're thinking. And then Black Widow says to Captain America, this better work. And he's basically like, yeah, this has to, or else I don't know what I'm going to do. At least they have an idea. They have a plan. So that's what we're going to see. And it really showed fucking Thanos too, man. Hanging up all the equipment outside as like a scarecrow. That was pretty fucking cool. That was seen at the end of the last movie, if you really caught it, which I did at the end of the last movie. But I didn't know that that's what it was. I thought that he was just kind of putting it up like a trophy. But I guess he's a farmer now and he's retired. So it's a lot of cool shit that we're going to see in this movie. I cannot wait to see this fucking movie. definitely highly anticipated, along with the next Star Wars, because I read up on this Star Wars and listen to videos every day about Star Wars, the next one coming out. And this next one coming out, they said is going to right all the wrongs. Like, they're literally going to go back and change the second movie. They're going to tie this movie into that movie directly and, like, change the outcomes of the shit that happened in part 2, in part 3. So what I'm thinking they're going to do is they're going to do, like, some kind of time travel or manipulation type thing, where Luke is going to be like, okay, there's that part that happened in part 2, but this is what really happened. You know what I mean? And show, like, a whole different story. So I can't wait to see how they're going to spin that. And I think they're going to be able to do it too. I really do. Like, you know, some people are doubting the shit out of it. Like, no, man, they're going to fuck it up. Which they might. They have before. So, but I think it'll be good either way. Star Wars as well. And then you had the Captain Marvel. Trailer come out as well, which I don't know how to feel about this movie. I don't know. Like, okay, so let me put it to you this way, and I'm not trying to be a hater, like, woman hater, all right? That's the last thing I want to be. But tell me this wouldn't be cool. Captain Marvel originally in the comics was a man, right? And he was considered to be like the Superman of their world, you know what I mean? The opposite world of Marvel instead of DC. He was known to be like the Superman of, like, had endless powers, and he looked the role too of like a Superman face with like that edged, you know, chin and the fucking, you know, black hair and the good looks, and he was fucking, you know, Captain Marvel. He was supposed to be the man, like the Superman of that shit. And in the old comic books, that's what he looked like. Then in the newer comic books, he like kind of passed the mantle to the chick that we see who's going to be in the movies. Now, what I thought was, why couldn't we have the old version of Captain Marvel and had a guy that was supposed to be like Superman coming into this Marvel universe that they built? They've never had a guy as dominant as like Superman. All these like heroes and villains, they all have like their breaking points. You know what I mean? But there's not that one person. I guess Vision, who was part of the Avengers, Vision was almost the closest you can come to like a Superman. You know, could fly through the air with no problem and fucking, you know, had these superpowers and could shoot fucking rays out of his eyes. And so he kind of was close to that, but obviously was not as strong as a fucking Superman. So I thought it would be really cool to have that character like that, but apparently it's not going to be like that. And apparently they're going with this girl. It's not apparently, I mean, it's definite. They're going with the chick. And I don't know how to feel about that movie. I don't know. Listen, it probably will be good. It's probably going to be good. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think it'll be some kind of like top-notch, like blow you away movie like Black Panther was. You know, because Black Panther was just insane. Ragnarok was fucking insane. Great movie. So I don't think that movie, Captain Marvel, will be anything close to those. But we'll see what happens, because we're going to see her movie come out first. And then she's going to also be in the new Avengers Part 4 that I was just talking about. So her character's going to have a lot to do with the next couple of movies coming up, man. And it's crazy to think that they're 10 years into recording in Marvel Studio, 10 years in. And look at the movies these guys have put together. They failed on a couple. There's a couple of really bad duds in there. You know what I mean? But besides that, they've always had fucking these great epic movies, man. Epic fucking worlds that, Stan Lee created, man. Shout out to him, who passed away recently. You know, this is all post Stan Lee now. Which, you know, the guy, you thought he'd live forever, that fucking guy. But, yeah, so, anyway, I just wanted to touch you guys on a lot of that shit and get that out of the way and tell you guys on the future of the rap battle. And we'll be going live Wednesday for our regular show. And I will be coming live, I think, either tomorrow night or Tuesday night. One of those nights we'll be going live on the Patreon or on regular YouTube, so look for that as well. And guys, give me feedback. If you guys want me to address all the bullshit drama, I'll address it. There's no doubt about it. We'll go live. We'll address everything. We'll call everybody out. If we have a problem with anybody, and I'm talking all of us, we in the family here on YouTube, I mean on Twitter, not on Twitter, on fucking Patreon and on YouTube, and all the people behind Foulmouth. If anybody has a problem with anything, come and talk to me, please, and tell me about it or who it is or what's going on. Because we're all here for each other to help each other out at the end of the day, and that's the way that it should be. All watching out for each other, all taking care of each other, and all having a good time when we all come together to have that time. Okay? We should all be fun and trustworthy of each other that are involved with me and Foulmouth. If you're involved with me and Foulmouth and my guys are unbelievable, the guys that I work with on here. Filthy Mouth Gamer has been a very good friend of mine since 1993, okay? And the man is a great man if you knew him personally, okay? Number two, Lucky Low. I known the guy for a while now, and I work hands-on with him, and me and him are around each other a lot. And sometimes we don't always see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, he is a talented fucking dude, and a good person, and a reliable, kind-hearted fucking good dude. He could also be a real dick scumbag, but we all can. You know, but I love the guy at the end of the day. And my cousin is my cousin. He's my blood, Chris. And he's a talented motherfucker, and he was a great acquisition for Foulmouth's network to grab and for him to come on here. And these guys, I wish I could give them the world. I wish I could keep them on here for forever. And I wish I could, always do this with these guys and a couple of other guys out there too. So at the end of the day, I trust these guys with my life. They trust me with their life. And we don't go against each other. We never will. We never will be manipulated. We will never fucking sell out on each other. We will never be, put against each other. We will always have a safe zone and a home right here at Foulmouth Network. And that goes for any other real person out there. If you see through the bullshit and you can call it and you know what's what, you know what we're here for, you know why we're here and what we do, come and be a fucking part of it. Plain and simple. All right, guys, I'm going to end this. I got to help bring in some packages right now I just seen. And I will be back tomorrow night. We will be back, Foulmouth Network. Shout out to Heistman Defoe for winning the championship and everybody who was involved. Peace out to all you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. We'll see you during the week when we kick off another week at the Foulmouth Network. Peace.